Good evening, welcome, Trev the Rev, and I ain't no vicar. Chunks of my friends, welcome to the show, and with me is the Lady Roz.
Hello. I can't wave at you tonight because I've got a certain cat on my lap.
And as you just heard, we are also joined by Gizmo Joe, who's here somewhere. Look, he hates being on camera. Go, hello, hello. Oh, yeah. He didn't like that. He didn't like that. He's digging his claws in. He's digging his claws in. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So we start off with a song. You know we start off with a song. From the 80s. If I was a better man, would fellow men take me to their heart? If I was a stronger man, carrying the weight of popular demand, tell me, would that alarm her? I'd never harm her at all. I actually got a rhythm there and got back into it. Dun, dun, dun. If I was a soldier, ding, 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 captain, arms I lay before her. If I was a sailor, ding, 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 7 oceans I sail to her. If I was a wiser man, oh, there's lots of money. Would other men reach out and touch me? If I was a kind of man, dishing up love for a hungry world, tell me, would that appease her? I want to please her again. Table's rocking because cat's moving. Bum, 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 bum. If I was a painter, ding, 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 I paint the world that couldn't paint her. Good rhythm. If I was a leader, ding, 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 on food love from above, I would feed her. If I was a poet, these would be rhymes. All my love in burning words, I would show it. If I was her lover, eyes in kisses, I would cover. Come here, my baby. Come here, my baby. Oh, they can't touch you now. I'll keep you safe and warm, and I'll stop in there because I'm completely lost the track because I was mucking about a little bit. And here we go. Let's get that out of the way, and see what Google. Hey Google. Hey Google. He's not working now. Can you tell us a joke, please?
Sorry, I'm not sure how to help with that yet, but I'm learning more every day.
Women, eh? Women. Let's try that again. Hey Google.
Give us a joke of the day.
Hey Google.
Give us the
joke of the day.
Where do cows go to have fun? The movies.
Okay.
Joke! You're on camera. Gizmo, you're on camera. Hey, you can tell it's live. You can tell it's live when the cat gets in the way of the camera, isn't it? Ooh, I want to be on camera. I want to be in the movies, Dad. I want to be in the movie. I don't know what you're doing, but I want to be part of it. Ooh. Well. Let's start with the old thingy box. The show is brought to you by me, and Gizmo's been a pain in the arse.
Nothing new there then.
Nothing new there. I completely agree. Completely agree. And yeah, and the sound we hear at the moment is just scratching right next to the laptop. So I'm sure you can hear it going. Bum, 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 this laptop. If you enjoy the show, please hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't done so already and you'd like to see more of my shows, please hit my subscribe button. And when you want to know when these videos are coming out,
Ring the bell.
that moving my lips. So, what are we talking about today? Well, I thought go along with the unknown and the mysteries and unusual stuff. I thought today we'd talk about pyramids and pyramids all over the world. When I was growing up, I honestly thought the only pyramids that were around was in Egypt. But then growing up, I learned more and more and more, and thought and discovered there are actually more pyramids around what we actually know. Of course, we know that now. We know that now. But originally, knowing that the pyramids were in Egypt, I thought they were burial sites because you found mummies and stuff in them. But again, growing up and looking more into it and stuff like that, I've actually discovered that pyramids are more than that. Some pyramids have been discovered as an energy source, as a way of fusing energy together to make to make it easier for those who are using a power battery as such. They've been put on ley lines where the energy lines go through the earth, so they can channel that energy as well. And I just put my phone on silent because I forgot to do so. It's lively now. It's lively now. But what I want to talk about now, particularly, are two what I call unusual pyramids. These are ones that have a fascination for me because they're obviously a lot more than a normal pyramid. And yes, you're getting 2 for 1 today, 2 for 1 again. And mentioning that, if you haven't seen it already, on Tuesday I did a video. It was episode 50. Please go and see it. Please go back into YouTube, find it, see it. Really is. And please see it. There's plenty of my really bad singing. Obviously, that's not the star of each video. You know that, as most people know that. But there's two. I squeezed 2 different subjects into the half hour that I thought were very good informations and stuff. You may agree, you may disagree. Please let me know what you thought. But now we get back to what we're talking about today. The first pyramid is known as a temple. Yes, I know it's a pyramid, but it's known as a temple. The temple of the feathered serpent. Now, before I go through my notes, one of the kings about this pyramid is the fact that at certain times of the day, they see a serpent going down the staircase, and another time of day, you see the serpent going back up the staircase. That's where the sun's in the Pacific point and stuff. So that by itself brings some amazement to this. But I'll just go through my notes now and read them out and tell me what you think. So this is about the Temple of the Feathered Serpent. There'll be another pyramid coming on later on. We'll get to that later. The Temple of the Feathered Serpent is the modern-day name for the 3rd largest pyramid at Teotihuacan. I think I pronounced that correctly. If I haven't, I apologize. A pre-Columbian site in central Mexico. That's one of those countries. You can't just say Mexico, can you? You go Mexico. It's I help it, I suppose. This structure is notably partly due to discovery in the 1980s of more than 100 possible sacrificial victims found buried beneath the structure. But this pyramid was actually, it's not an old one. It's been there for ages, but it hasn't recently, compared to discoveries and all the sorts, it's recently been discovered. So what, only 40 years back? So that's so recently, but to me that's recent because I was only 10 years old then. But then you don't realise how far I was. And Roz is leaving the building. Roz is leaving the building. Gizmo is thinking about it. So the table rocks, you know why. Anyway, the burials, like the structure, are dated to sometime between 150 and 200 CE. The pyramid takes its name from representations of the Mesoamerican feathered serpent deity which covered its sides. These are some of the earliest known representations of the feathered serpent, often identified with the much later Aztec god Quetzalcoatl. The structure is also known as the Temple of Quetzalcoatl and the Feathered Serpent Pyramid, which is why I wanted to call it the pyramid. The Temple of the Feathered Serpent is located at the southern end of the Avenue of the Dead, Teotihuacan's main thoroughfare within the Cluedo complex. The Cluedo citadel is a structure with high walls. Yeah, sorry. So I've been interrupted there. I hope you don't mind. I do apologise. Again, you can tell it's live, can't you? It's never happened with scripted. Ciudadela is a structure with high walls and a large courtyard surrounding the temple. The Kuela Dwellers courtyard is massive enough that it can house the entire adult population of Teotihuacan within its walls, which was estimated to be 100,000 people at its peak. That's Roz's phone, not on silent. She laughed at me when her my phone went. I don't know. Within the Ciudadela, there are several monumental structures, including the temple, two mansions north and south of the temple, and the Adosada platform, built into the 4th century. The Adosada platform is located just in front, which is the west, of the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, obscuring its view. Feathered Serpent Pyramid is a 6-level step pyramid built in the blued Telbulela style. The outside edges of each level are decorated with feathered serpent heads, alternating with those of another snake-like creature. Often identified as Teal'c. Nevertheless, Mary Ellen Miller and the Carl Darby claim that these heads may represent a war serpent, while Michael D. Coe claims somewhat similarly they are probably representing a fire serpent wearing a headdress with a Teotihuacan symbol for war. In the eyes of these figures, there is a spot for obsidian glass to be put in, so when the light hits, its eyes will glimmer. In antiquity, tripping up on my words today, or what? I'm tripping up on my words. The entire pyramid was painted. The background here was blue with carved seashells providing decoration. Under each row of heads are bas reliefs of the full-feathered serpent, in profile also associated with water symbols. These and other designs are architectural elements are more than merely I'm tripping up on little words as well. Merely decorative. Can't read my writing, that's half the problem. Merely decorative, suggesting strong ideological significance, though there is no contention as to what that significance is. Some interpret the pyramid's iconography as cosmological in scope, a myth of the origin of time or creation. As a calendrical in nature, others find symbol of rulership, of war, and the military. Today, the pyramid is largely hidden by the Adosada platform, hinting at political reconstruction of Teotihuacan. I think I pronounced that right. In the 4th century, perhaps a rejection of autocratic rule in favour of a collective leadership. During explorations in the early 20th century, a section of the facade on the monument's west side was discovered. This section is believed to date from the late 3rd century. Fantastic and rare carvings on the surface show depictions of the feathered serpent deity, other gods, and seashells on the panels on either side of a staircase. Since the structure has been exposed to the elements for the entire duration of its history, really? The cat's... Oh. Where was I? Tourist visitation also accelerated the duration. In 2004, the Temple of Quetzalcoatl was listed in the 2004 World Monuments Watch by the World Monuments Fund. The organisation provided assistance for conservation in cooperation with the Instituto Nacional de Antropología Historia with help from American Express. The card that you can take. Burials at the pyramid. 200 or more sacrificial burials were found at the pyramid, believed to be carried out as part of the dedication of the temple. The burials are grouped in various locations, the significance which is not yet understood. While there are burials of both men and women, the males outnumbered the females. Okay. The males were accompanied by the remains of weapons and accoutrements, such as necklaces of human teeth. That led researchers to conclude that they were warriors, probably warriors in service to Tihu Khan rather than captives from opposing armies. The richness of the burial goods generally increases towards the centre of the pyramid. At least 3 degrees of status have been identified, although there is no indication of a dead ruler or obvious focal point. On Thursday, May the 26th, 2011, researchers from Mexico's National University reported that a tunnel structure had been found beneath the Temple of the Feathered Serpent using a radar device. Archaeologists there claim they have found what appears to be a series of symbols along the tunnel. 15 metres beneath the ground and 130 metres long, running eastwards and terminating several sealed funeral chambers beneath the pyramid. The significance of orientation of the symbols is not yet understood. Though it is thought they might be connected to the imagery of the Mesoamerican underworld, excavations are ongoing and researchers are hopeful that the orientation of the tunnel and position of the chambers indicate that they may contain the remains of early rulers or other high-status individuals at Tihu Khan. Researchers reported that the tunnel was believed to have been sealed in 200 CE. There was an apparent correlation between the Temple of the Feathered Serpent and the calendar. The pyramid also is thought to contain 260 feathered serpent heads beneath the platforms. Each of these feathered serpents also contain an open area in its mouth. This open area is big enough to put a placeholder in. Thus, it is believed that the people of Tihu Khan would move this place marker around the pyramid to represent the ritual calendar. When a spiritual day would arrive, the people would gather within the walls of the Ciudadela and celebrate the ritual. The Temple of the Feathered Serpent was not only a religious centre but also a political centre. Well, the rulers of Tihu Khan were not only the leaders of men, they were also the spiritual leaders of the city. 2 mansions near the pyramid are thought to have been occupied by powerful families. An interesting feature of the Feathered Serpent pyramid is that there are examples of a shift in power or ideology in the Tihu Khan and for the pyramid itself. The construction of the Adosa platform came much later than the Feathered Serpent pyramid. The Adosa platform is built directly in front of the pyramid and blocks its front view. It is thought that the political leaders lost favour or that the ideology of the Feathered Serpent pyramid lost virtue, and so was covered up by the Adosa. So there you have the first pyramid that we wanted to talk about today, which was the serpent. Now, remember what I said earlier on about that? I said at a certain point there was actually a snake going down the stairs, and not only is it going that way, if memory serves me correct, the sites and the certain places of the actual or this parade of buildings and stuff where the serpent pyramid is correlates with our solar system as well. So that's something else I remember. Very unusual, but I do remember. Please look into it. Please tell me what you thought, what you think of the Serpent Pyramid. What do you think it was a burial place? Do you think it was somewhere where the rulers used to control the people around? Please let me know what you think. I'd love to know. So from there, we go to the second pyramid I want to talk about. You may notice I haven't actually spoken about Egyptian pyramids because they're common and I want to give that their own sole section. The next one is another unusual pyramid. It's one that hasn't been proven it's actually there. The country China is like pretending it's not there, like But let's go into it. The second pyramid, the Great Pyramid of China, the largest and oldest pyramid on the planet. The Great Pyramid of China is beyond fascinating. For years, the government has not allowed proper studies to be performed on the numerous pyramids near the city of Xi'an. Excursions that managed to sneak into the area where the pyramids are discovered numerous anomalies like the metallic material which could not be identified by researchers. The pyramids are believed to be over 8,000 years old. Are the Pyramid of China amongst the largest on the planet? According to many, one of the pyramids kept a secret for years. In China, it's so large that the Great Pyramid of Giza seems like a miniature monument. The story of the Chinese pyramid began at the end of the Second World War, when American pilot James Grisman was about to complete a three-supply mission to the forces of the Chinese army. Suddenly, a fault in the aircraft engine forced him to return to the Assam base located in northern India. For safety reasons, he decided to fly at lower altitude. Shortly after flying over the city of Xi'an, heading southward, the pilot encountered what looked like a gigantic pyramid. Surprised after making several passes over the humongous structure, he decided to take a number of photographs, which later included a detailed report, which were handed to his superiors as soon as he reported return to base. The incident was forgotten among the files of the US Air Force until 40 years later. The Great Pyramid of China was brought back to light through the work of Australian writer Brian Crowley, who published one of the photographs of the pyramid in his book. As a result, it was known this wasn't the first time pilots saw the humongous Chinese pyramid. In fact, during March 147, when the war was already over, the New York Times published an article making reference to the sighting made by Colonel Maurice Schumann from his plane when he flew over a gigantic pyramid, described by Colonel Maurice Schumann as having approximate dimensions of 300 meters in height and 450 meters on each side. It is noteworthy to mention that these dimensions would make the Chinese pyramid the largest one ever discovered on Earth, dwarfing the Great Pyramid of Giza with a mere 140 meters in height and 320 meters in width. Even more fascinating is the fact that the Great Pyramid of Egypt has around 52,900 square meters. The Great Pyramid of China exceeds the number with a staggering 202,000 square meters. Over the years, numerous pilots claimed to observe the giant pyramids in China, and there's a great amount of images taken by pilots and satellites which support the existence of the mysterious structure in Asia. However, explicitly, Chinese authorities have rejected the existence of such monuments. So, where have you heard that before? Come on, where have you heard that before? In the early 20th century, explorers and traders like German citizens Frederick Schroeder and Oscar Marman have testified to the presence of not only one but several pyramids located around the Chinese city of Xi'an. But the mystery behind the Pyramid of China is even more fascinating. According to reports, numerous European excursions managed to take samples of objects and metals around the Pyramid of China. Analysis showed that these structures could be well over 8,000 years old. But the most fascinating detail isn't the age of the pyramids, interestingly, but the metallic material present at the pyramids has not been identified so far. It has been made out of materials that are unknown to modern science. So that's the second pyramid. And what do you think? I mean, you think there are pyramids in China? Do you think they're just hills that have been carved to appear like pyramids? Well, from what I've seen on shows that I watch about the subject, I do believe there are pyramids in China. When you think about it, they're all over the globe. In one form or another, pyramids are all over the world. So why not in China as well? Why not? Who's to say they're not older than the ones that we really know of and all the sorts. So why were they built? I personally believe they were an energy source. I believe most pyramids have been placed in specific places where the ley lines intermeet and intercross, which cause it's easier to get energy from the earth naturally without harming the planet. How they do this, on my comprehension, that's what I personally think, and that includes the pyramids in Egypt. There are some pyramids that have been designed and built for humans and stuff. I remember reading once that that the complexity of the first pyramid that was built was in such a way that it couldn't have been done by the people who were around at that time, but they were then copied, and they tried to copy what was built with smaller pyramids, and maybe those are the temples and the pyramids that have been built for tombs and stuff, because they wanted to copy what was there before. Why not? It makes common sense. But please let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. If there's a particular pyramid you'd like me to actually go into specifically, please let me know. I'd love to know what you think. And on that note, it's time to say farewell. So if you've enjoyed this video, we go through this again and again and again. If you enjoyed my video, please hit thumbs up button, thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please hit my subscribe button. And when you want to know when my videos are coming out, ring that bell. Ring the bell, ding dong, ding a ling a ling. And please tell your friends about it so they will watch the show. Because you know what's gonna go, because you just have to know. Until next time, chibble off, my friends, on Trev the Rev. Ain't no. Bye bye.